What's going on, Summoners? Welcome back to another ProGuides video. I'm Kangas, and today I'm walking you through this week's weekly news update. From Riot's new PvE skins to the newest champion, we got you covered. So hit that sub button, and let's get right into it. Starting us off, let's dive into the brand new content that's been announced on the PvE. Of course, if you've been keeping up with us here at ProGuides, you'll know all about Riot's newest champion, Gwen. This new magical seamstress has been stirring up quite the response within the League community. Her powerful kit includes a dash, percent HP damage, a Xin Zhao ultimate, and more. This, alongside the disappointment of her design as a living doll, has caused some uproar, as many players are getting tired of new champions being released with an overwhelmingly high power level. It should be stated though that it's been confirmed by Riot Reeve that she was not meant to be a living doll, but rather a doll that had come to life, as many players were confused by not only her teaser video, but a bit of her lore as well. While there has been varying success on her position in the top lane, and it's still too early to tell how good she is, she's been making her way across highlight channels across the world as she topples her foes with a few quick snips of her scissors. Gwen has even made her presence known in the jungle for having an extremely healthy clear and one of, if not the fastest clear in the game. Although, strangely enough, she's going to be receiving a Space Groove skin, even though the event is fairly far from her release. And of course, with the release of Gwen, there's also going to be new icons and ranked split emotes for anyone who wants to claim the title of a Gwen one-trick. Overall, she seems like a fun and interesting champion, but without a few adjustments, players may just perma-ban her in their solo queue games. Alongside Gwen taking the PvE by storm, there's some amazing new skins that have made their way to the PvE shop too. We've got new additions to the Dragon Slayer skin line with Galio, Kale, and Twitch each claiming a sick looking skin as their own. If Dragon Slayer isn't really your thing though, don't worry, there's also two new Black Frost skins for Vel'Koz and Sion. As usual, all of these new skins will be released with multiple chromas so that you can further customize your champion to fit your favorite color palette. And before we end off our PvE news update, don't forget that you can get a 20% off discount of your next ProGuide subscription right now. Speaking of which, if you're serious about climbing, don't forget to check out ProGuides.com for exclusive access to guides, courses, coaches, and more. If you never used ProGuides before, this is a perfect opportunity. Anyway, let's get back to the video. So a few weeks ago, we mentioned that Rammus had a small rework being done, and finally, after all the waiting, it's being sent to the PvE soon. For those of you who missed out on that week's news update, Rammus is getting his kit's numbers tweaked, some great new VFX on his basic abilities, and having his ultimate changed into a pretty large ground pound style AoE. It feels awesome to have such an old champion get revamped so that it can better fit League's fast-paced playstyle. Speaking of updating older content, for all of my competitive ARAM players out there, there's going to be a lot new visual updates there. From brand new snowball animations, updated Poros and Poro snacks, cleaner looking health relics, to just general quality of life changes such as respawn effects and additional turret death animations. ARAM is looking to get a fresh new look so that it can keep up with the times. And since we're pumped about all these newer updates, let's quickly cover our question of the day. If you could pick one champion that Riot could give a full visual and gameplay rework to, who would you pick? For me, even though he was reworked not too long ago, I would have to say Yorick. If you don't remember playing old Yorick, it was super fun having a ton of minions that you can summon to fight for you, and the new Yorick just doesn't really fulfill that summoner fantasy, so I really want to see somebody that's more like the old Yorick. But let me know your answers in the comments down below. So I'm sure by now you've all checked out our League of Legends Wild Rift channel. Well, if you're in NA and spent your time watching those videos waiting for your chance to play, now you can. Wild Rift was officially released in North America this week, so be sure to get logged in and grind out your games. It's full of a lot of cool looking champions that, as a PC player, honestly make me kinda jealous. And with these updated champion looks come a few skins that were redesigned as well. There's even some exclusive skins to come, such as Lunar Beast Misfortune. So if you value your money, I'd hide your wallet before breaking open the store tab in Wild Rift. Alongside its release, many players are already preparing to make their way up the ladder and claim their throne as the best Wild Rift players. Of course, with the release of Wild Rift, it's pretty expected that you run into a few people trying to cheat the system on their way to the top. It's become fairly apparent that win trading slowly rose in popularity during the short time that Wild Rift has been available. Riot chose to directly answer this by permanently banning any players with high amounts of win trading on their account. For smaller offenders, they'll have their Season 1 ranked rewards revoked and have their accounts demoted to Iron 4. This is a really good step in the right direction for forming a strong competitive community for the Wild Rift. Let's just hope that some of this energy can transfer over to the PC League of Legends. Anyway, let's move on to some of Riot's gameplay thoughts and their short-term project list. Since we've already covered Rammus, let's quickly look at SONA and some of the updated changes that she's looking to get. Overall, SONA seems to fail at her role as a late-game hyper carry support, and instead seems to fill the spot of a burst mage at the moment. While her win rate isn't horrible, it makes the champion just feel extremely awkward. Riot's looking to remove mechanics that make SONA feel bad as a support in the late game by adjusting things such as her mana costs and removing the mana refund that she has when granting an ally aura. And they're also looking to give her a passive that will increase her ability haste and ability power through the game. All in all, SONA is slowly being transformed into a hyper carry's dream so that she's not so easily outshined by champions like Seraphine and Yumi. Up next, Riot has been taking a look at Taric and how he fits into the game at the moment. Notoriously known for his paired arrangement with Master Yi, Taric hardly feels like a support anymore, and Riot's looking to adjust his role so they can further buff him without turning him into a duo-abusing monster. First off, they're looking to straight up remove his interaction with Yi and their E+Q combo since it lacks counterplay. This, alongside some other small tweaks, will allow them to properly work on the gem-wielding warrior's kit without worrying about him being too powerful in Chi's starts. Since we're on the topic of supports, we also wanted to quickly mention that for all of our Tahm Kench lovers out there, Riot wants to make sure that everyone knows they haven't forgotten about him either. They're still working on his art and audio side, but overall want to release an update for him that will feel refreshing. And for all my top laners out there, Riot's looking to add a bit more power to your lane in general. While they were focused on split pushing previously, now they're exploring a few more options for updates and upgrades for items used in the top lane, as well as increasing the amount of gold available within turret platings. Overall, it's just looking like a nice overhaul for the top lane that will give it more objective focus, as well as increasing the power that the lane as a whole can hold. This will take some time and a lot of changes, however, it's just to make sure that they don't end up accidentally creating those cheese strategies like they did in the past. I'm looking at you, lane swap meta. As for their final note, they're looking to fix and add a few new items to help out roles that are currently struggling with the new itemization options that were added in Season 11. With this, they're looking to add a new tank legendary item that can allow tanks to create solo pressure in their lane and answer split pushers a bit easier rather than just ping-ponging waves and possibly dying to the enemy. Alongside this, they're also looking to add an additional enchanter item that offers some personal defense. We're assuming this item can be something of value like Seeker's Arm Guard, where they're able to get decent defensive stats without sacrificing the little gold income that they currently have. This can be a bit dangerous as when items become cheap yet effective, lots of laners are able to take advantage of it too. Just take a look at earlier in the season when mages were able to build Muramana due to its low price point and extremely high value and not only pure damage, but also mixed DPS and just a ton of mana. Overall, these changes will take a bit to get completely fleshed out, but it's best if Riot takes their time. Otherwise, we may end up with some game-breaking items or another variation of Ardent meta. Ugh. And before we end off our video, we want to make sure that you guys are up to date with some of the massive changes from the new patch. While we won't be covering them in depth here, you can find it thoroughly explained in our patch breakdown. With the new patch finally released, it's looking like Riot is looking to break the jungle meta and open up some more options. Introducing some nerfs to Hecarim, Udyr, and their infamous Turbo Chemtake abuse, their role in the jungle will be looking to dwindle a bit more. Although it may not take them down multiple tiers, they won't be as oppressive as before, which means that champions such as Shaco or the newly buffed Amumu can actually start to appear again. With many champions abusing Essence Reaver as well, it was only to be expected that it would get nerfed this patch by losing 10 AD. While it's still a decent option, it'll take away some of the power from champions like Rengar specifically. Finally, we can't leave out the skins. The whole new Space Groove skin line is finally released, which means you can get your groove on some amazing looking chromas, a legendary Blitz skin, a prestige Lulu skin, and more. Overall, it's looking like a fun new event that can spice up League's environment. And that's it for this week's news recap. Remember to hit that like button and sub to the channel so that you don't miss any of our future uploads. And also, if you're looking for people to share your opinions of Gwen with, then check out the community Discord through the link in the description. Anyways, as always, best of luck on the Rift, everybody. Stay hydrated, and I'll see you next time.